a really good show tonight from AEW Fight for the Fallen. What is going on, everybody? This is Joseph Conlon coming to you with the AEW Fight for the Fallen review on Wednesday, July 15th, 2020. We got the AEW business tonight with Fight for the Fallen, and most things they did tonight, they knocked it out of the park. This was a very, very good show tonight. Fight for the Fallen. We're going to talk about everything that happened on the show tonight. But before we talk about everything that was on the show tonight, I got a guest tonight. He is the owner of the Rolling Pin podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you, huge AEW fan, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gary Foods. We're in a Zoom call here, so I got Gary here from Rolling Pin podcast. How are you doing today?
Good, Joseph. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you inviting me on this segment, jumping in to talk about AEW, which Fight for the Fallen. Shout out to everybody else who's watching this too and supporting.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm glad to have you on tonight. You have thoughts on AEW Fight for the Fallen tonight? What'd you think of the show?
AEW it's always getting better and better. Being a wrestling fan, long time ago during the Attitude Era, haven't seen anything as good as AEW has been since I jumped back into watching wrestling. Fight for the Fallen didn't disappoint at all. You know what I mean? I like how they started off with the TNT Championship, ended with another championship, and they had a lot of great stuff in between.
Yeah, I mean, they were very consistent with the match card tonight, and they did start off with that TNT Championship match. And, let's just get right into it. If you guys missed my Monday Night Raw review from this past Monday, make sure you guys go check that out. It's the last
match too. It's backyard wrestling match. That should still be on there. Make sure y'all check that out.
Yeah, make sure you check that match out as well. But let's get right into Fight for the Fallen. A lot to talk about, so we're gonna be here a while tonight. We had the opener, Sonny Kiss, challenging Cody for the TNT Championship. A lot of people gave Sonny Kiss doubt in this match that he wasn't really going to have a good performance against a guy like Cody. Could Sonny Kiss live up that big standard in a big match at Fight for the Fallen for the TNT Championship? If it was up to me, I'd give it a thumbs up performance. He had some really nice maneuver in there. He showed out. He looked good in the loss. Cody made him look like he made him look like $1,000 in that match. And even though Sonny Kiss lost to Cody tonight for the TNT Championship, he came out looking really good. But Cody retained the TNT Championship at the end with a crossroads, and he pinned Sonny Kiss. And then after the match, Cody and Sonny hugged it out after the match, after a good fought performance and a good match to open the show. What do you think of this opening match between Sonny and Cody? Gary?
I think it was very explosive coming in. You made a lot of great points that, I think you hit the nail on the head. Sonny Kiss came in very, very dominant to start the match with Cody. Actually, it was one part that I liked that Sonny Kiss actually gave Cody the crossroads, and I thought it was going to be over then, but Cody ended up getting out of that and eventually ending it with the crossroads again. I guess his crossroads are a little bit more powerful than Sonny's crossroads, but nonetheless, can't take anything away from Sonny. Sonny put on a great performance. I think this is only going to help his stock and allow him to go to higher heights with AEW. Great match.
Yeah.
The thing is, Cody, I'm watching Cody very closely because the thing with Cody is he's a babyface still, and I'm wondering when he's going to turn heel and who is going to make him turn heel. That's kind of what I've been looking at the most.
Well, that's another thing that happened in this match as well. This is the most I've seen Cody bring out some heel tactics in this match, and he brought it out a lot against Sonny Kiss. And they showed Tully Blanchard was scouting Cody in this match. So, what do you think about the Cody heel tactics and Tully Blanchard scouting Cody?
I think it's only a matter of time. It takes the right person. It's going to take the right person to turn Cody into a heel. I think that the person who's going to actually turn Cody into a heel is going to be a heel themselves. It's going to be like, you remember how The Rock and Stone Cold, like they were both good guys, but they were both bad at the same time?
Yeah.
I think that Cody's still going to be good, but he's got to get a little bit more darker with his image, and I think that's going to help his nightmare appearance. You know what I mean? But it's going to take that one person to do it. I don't know if it's going to come from MJF or somebody like that, but I would love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, it's about a matter of time until Cody turns heel. It's probably going to be when crowds come back because I see Cody leading the Four Horsemen, and they're not gonna do that without a crowd. That'd be dumb. So,
Yeah.
Cody's gonna turn heel when the crowds come back. But overall, the opening match with Sonny Kiss was a good way to start the show. It was a good match, and Cody retained the TNT Championship. Final thoughts on the match?
Yeah, shout out to Sonny. Shout out to Sonny for getting it done.
Great.
For doing it, get it done. Cody Rhodes is still holding on to that. So shout out to Cody Rhodes for hanging on to the TNT title. He's gonna lose it eventually. I don't know who, but it was a great match again.
Yeah, it was a good match to open up the show. The next match we got after that was Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix, the Lucha Bros, versus FTR. Lucha Bros came out in the truck with the Butcher and the Blade, and this was a very good offense. Not so good in the beginning. The Lucha Brothers had one bad botch. It was a set time. I think Pentagon botched it. That was a really bad botch. But I mean, besides that, this match was great. It was everything you expected out of this match. Just great tag team wrestling after Lucha Bros and FTR. And at the end, FTR using heel tactics. Dax Harwood ripping the mask of Rey Fenix off, a small package, and FTR got the victory over the Lucha Bros. What do you think of this great tag team match that was FTR versus the Lucha Brothers?
Both tag teams did their thing. I think they both work cohesively well together. I really, really like the Lucha Brothers. I think the Lucha Brothers are the best tag team in AEW, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, but Lucha Brothers worked really well. Shout out to Rey Fenix for winning Wrestler of the Week. I think that built the momentum him coming into this match. I really wanted them to win, but looking back at it, I didn't expect them to win due to the amazing work that they put in last week, and as they did their thing. But nonetheless, great match. I didn't really like the tactic of the FTR by taking off Rey Fenix mask. So, in all honesty, I would still, in my mind, say the Lucha Brothers won this match, even though they didn't on paper, because of the heel tactic of pulling the mask off Rey Fenix. I really didn't like that.
It was a mixed reaction on social media, I would say. But, I mean, FTR got the win. I was going for a time limit draw. I thought it was going to be a time limit draw, but, I mean, the way they beat the Lucha Bros, it didn't really bury them. It didn't really do anything bad to them. But then after the match, the Young Bucks came from behind to super kick the Butcher and the Blade, and they got the keys to FTR's truck. They gave FTR the keys to the truck. Kenny Omega came out with a cooler. It was a can of Miller Lite. He had a can for himself, 2 cans for FTR, and FTR pouring a Miller Lite all over Kenny Omega. And this obviously led to other things with Kenny Omega later in the night. But what did you think of this by FTR?
I think it was a good move just to keep everything fiery for real, because Kenny Omega came out last week. He poured the beer out. So why would he even be expecting to come in and make friends with FTR if he did that? Like, FTR is not that sweet, and I don't think that they are going to let that just slide like that. It's not going to be that easy for Kenny Omega just to get in with FTR like that. So I think that was the right move by FTR. Way to stand your ground and let everybody know that you're a force to be reckoned with. You're just not here to be friends. So it's wrestling, and you're here to be the top tag team. And one way to do that is not make friends, especially with the people who was beefing with you last week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get you. And we'll actually get back to Kenny Omega and FTR actually next, because after this great tag team match, we saw, well, before that, actually, we're not going to get to that next. We got to get to Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle. He had something to say. He said that he was cutting a promo on the ratings with NXT, and he called himself the Demos King. The 18 to 49 graphic is the most important thing, and I found this absolutely hilarious. While WWE fans will get offended by this, I was laughing my ass off with Jericho bringing up the ratings and the 18 to 49 demographic. What do you think of Jericho's shot at the ratings against NXT?
Well, I think it was for a certain type of people. I don't really watch the ratings. I like watching wrestling just to watch wrestling. I know
Yeah,
there's some.
same.
Yeah, I know there's some people who actually get into the ratings, which is fine. So Jericho was actually going at those people who, because I was watching Twitter last week when I was on Twitter, people were talking about how AEW were losing in the ratings and whatnot. So Jericho actually had a tweet last week saying exactly what he said in the ring today. So he readdressed it live tonight as he put on Twitter. You know what I mean? For those people who were confused about it. So it was really educational, but it was also entertaining at the same time for those people.
Yeah, I don't get people arguing back and forth at the ratings. I think it's dumb. I think it's a waste of time. And why do it? We see AEW and NXT, two good wrestling shows for the fun of it. No reason to bicker about the ratings. I think.
Right. I mean, ratings are important though if you're looking at it from a business standpoint and you really want to see where everybody's attention is and where all the viewers' information is going.
For a business standpoint, yeah, I totally agree with that.
Nonetheless, though, if you're just watching it just to be entertained, then it's kind of irrelevant. But at the end of the day, Chris Jericho did a good job of addressing everybody who is concerned about the ratings. You know what I mean? While also
moving on from the rating stuff, Jericho brought up Orange Cassidy, and he said one of his favorite matches ever was last week's match against Orange Cassidy. And Orange he was good. He had a good performance, but at the end he came up short. And everybody's asking for a rematch. And Jericho's like, no, you're not going to get a rematch between myself and Orange Cassidy. Then from the stands in the audience, out came Orange Cassidy with his new theme music. Jericho didn't know what he was doing there. He told him to get out of his arena and leave because he's not going to get a rematch with Jericho. Then Cassidy put the thumbs up and he put the thumbs down. And what the thumbs down meant was literally Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle tonight, Gary, got juiced. They got juiced by Orange Cassidy, and Ortiz was selling this so good. It was really funny, and a lot of people were praising this segment on social media. This segment was amazing, in my opinion. What'd you think of it?
I actually liked it too. One, it was very surprising. I think a lot of people didn't expect it. So that was a good way for Orange Cassidy to come in and get back at the Inner Circle for bringing out orange juice when that's actually his gimmick. You know what I mean? So they had orange juice. They had little bottles. They would drink out of it. But Orange Cassidy came through with the mega bucket, dumping it on Jericho as he was, bragging about whatnot, being Jericho. I think that it's also a good way for Orange Cassidy staying relevant, and it pretty much led to Jericho wanting a rematch. He actually said he didn't want a rematch. Then on the side of you, listen real closely, who was sitting at the announcer table, he said there will be a rematch. So it'd be nice to see those two go back at it again. Hopefully, Orange Cassidy can get the win next time. And Orange Cassidy, shout out to Orange Cassidy because he wears shades. Shout out to everybody who wears shades at all times of the day.
Shout out to Orange Cassidy. But this was a great segment. Chris Jericho's $7,000 jacket was absolutely ruined. I wonder when Orange Cassidy's going to pay him $7,000.
He's not paying.
Jericho was then. He's not going to pay him. But Jericho was pissed on commentary. He's like, I'm drenched. I'm full of orange juice. I can't sit down. Excalibur was plugging Orange Cassidy's towel on AEW Shop. And Jericho was like, yeah, you know what else you could get on AEW Shop? And he said, my foot up your ass. So that was awesome. Jericho was so funny on commentary, as he always is. But starting off the second hour, we had Jurassic Express versus the Elite, and this was a great match. This actually might have been my favorite match of the night, if we're being honest. This was great. Marco Stunt, so underrated. A lot of people don't give credit to Marco Stunt for how good he is. That dude can sell his ass off. Jungle Boy was very good. Kenny Omega was the main focus of this story. But some of the main parts that happened in this match, in my opinion, were Luchasaurus taking out the Young Bucks. I believe Luchasaurus did a dive over the rope. Jungle Boy hit a DDT on the. Marco hit a Hurricane Rana to Matt on the floor. Marco did the Fortnite dance, and then Nick Jackson punted Marco Stunt's head. That was funny. And then Marco Stunt. You got Matt Jackson on Luchasaurus. You got Matt Jackson on the top rope, and you got Marco Stunt jumping off of Luchasaurus' shoulders into a Canadian destroyer in the ring. I don't know what destroyer was crazier, Ray Phoenix to Nick Jackson or Marco Stunt to Matt Jackson. But man, that was one crazy Canadian destroyer.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and then at the end of the match, Omega tagged in V-Trigger to Marco Stunt, One Winged Angel, and that was the end of the match. The Elite getting the win over the Jurassic Express. After the match, Kenny Omega then attacked Marco Stunt, and the Young Bucks were trying to stop him, and Omega was pissed. They teased Kenny Omega heel turn. So, number one, what did you think of this match with the Elite and the Jurassic Express?
I really like the Jurassic Express. I think that the Jurassic Express is a team. They work very well together. And it's one of the groups that really are underrated as a tag team. I think there are a lot of tag teams on top, and they kind of fall kind of in the middle or towards the bottom of that list of great tag teams. But nonetheless, they always put on a great performance, like you were saying earlier. One thing that I've been looking at closely with Kenny Omega in particular is every time I watch him, he doesn't really fit with. I don't like the fact that he bounces around with so many different tag teams. I think it kind of messes up his character. I mean, like over the course of several months, it was Matt Hardy, then it was the Young Bucks, then he's with, you know what I mean? He's always bouncing around with different tag teams, and I think that's kind of diluting his character a little bit. I personally like him. I stated this on my own channel, but I personally like him as an individual wrestler versus a tag team wrestler. And he just doesn't. It doesn't fit. He doesn't really fit. So I really didn't think that they were going to win just off the simple fact that Kenny Omega is just, just that outlying factor. But nonetheless, Jurassic Express, I think they deserve that win for the simple fact that that whole group is, I think, underrated.
Yeah, you mentioned that in your video. Like you like Kenny as a singles wrestler better than a tag team wrestler, jumping around with all of the tag teams. I believe that's coming to an end soon, but I thought this match was great. Marco Stunt looked great. The heel tactics by Kenny looked great. Now we got to get to Kenny. What did you think of Kenny Omega throughout this whole match, teasing a heel turn here?
To keep things interesting, I would say, I got to say it was ineffective. I mean, like, out of all the stories, I think Kenny Omega is a great wrestler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he's a phenomenal wrestler, but I don't know. I feel like his story. I just can't. I'm not following the Kenny Omega storyline right now. It's everywhere, so it's very hard to tell what he's going to do next. You know, he's attacking FTR. Is back heart. Like it's just very confusing. So I really don't have any thoughts on that. I just hope that he can find his own way into AEW. Because honestly, like he's one of the reasons why I got into AEW in the first place. Between him and Jon Moxley, that feud, and that's when he was wrestling as a singles wrestler. But now it's just, I don't see that same powerhouse as I do now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, now we got this three-way feud, kind of with the Elite, Hangman Page, and FTR, and a lot of people are thinking that this is going to lead to a match between FTR and the Young Bucks at All Out. I actually don't think it's going to happen at All Out. I actually think that match is going to be saved for live crowds. When live crowds come back, that's when we're going to get FTR versus the Young Bucks. I think what's going to happen at All Out, Gary, is we're going to get FTR versus Omega and Page for the tag team championships. FTR are going to win, and that's going to be when Hangman Page turns on Kenny Omega. You might not agree with me, but that's what I think is going to happen.
I actually, just for the simple fact that it would make Kenny Omega an individual wrestler again, I would have to agree with you. And I think that would be a great push for FTR because they didn't. It's time for them to get their push. You know what I mean? It's really time for FTR to kind of start stepping up and getting into the. Because they just recently got into AEW, so I think that they need some consistent wins to kind of get on their record. So I think beating Kenny Omega and Hangman Page would be a great way for Kenny Omega to go back to individual walking the FTR that makes it up.
And FTR bring the legitimacy out of the AEW tag team division. Not like it's a bad division. The AEW tag team division is actually the best division, the best tag team division in any world, no doubt. But ever since FTR has arrived, the legitimacy in the AEW tag team division has been unbelievable. And those guys as AEW tag team champions is going to bring out the legitimacy more. And they just got to the company. And already, I want to see them as the tag team champions. And I think they should be the tag team champions come all out.
FTR?
Yes.
I don't know. I honestly think that the tag teams are so great over there. Somebody mentioned this too, and I agree with it, that they need to come up with a new title. I think they need a new tag team title of some sort because it's only one title, but then there's so many dominant tag teams who could really hold on to the title, and nobody would even blink an eye. You know what I mean? I think they need to come up with like another title.
Well, hey, they got a second show coming on TNT apparently, so maybe we get a second set of titles. Who knows?
Yeah, a show from spinning off from AEW.
Yeah, Tony Khan said it in his podcast. He had a podcast with Eric Bischoff, and he said we're gonna have a second show, and it's gonna be 1 hour, but he hasn't announced it when he's gonna announce the show. But that's what he said his second show is gonna be.
So they have Dark, then they have the regular show. Now they're gonna come up with a third segment.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that means growth.
Yep, the roster is expanding. It's a nice little roster over there at AEW, but we had a really good talk about FTR, Omega, Page, Young Bucks. It's a really good discussion on the Fight for the Fallen review, but we got to move on here with the Nightmare Sisters. We had Allie and Brandy. This match went 2 minutes. Thank God this match went 2 minutes. Brandy, I don't know about you, bro, but I watch Dark every single week, and I see no progress from Brandy Rhodes. Allie's gotten a little bit better, but Brandy, she is not good at all. She is on Alexa Bliss levels, in my opinion.
Yeah, I tell my woman the same thing. Anytime the women wrestlers come on, I kind of, include her and have her watch it, tell her what she thinks. I really don't like Brandy Rhodes. I think it's just a way for Cody Rhodes to put his wife on the show and just, you know what I mean? Like, I just...
Yep.
I don't know. I just feel like that's just trash. I don't even know why Dustin Rhodes is even over there with that situation. I think he's heading towards retirement, so he's just stepping in there to, you know what I mean, show his face and whatnot. But, yeah, I'm glad it was 2 minutes, too, because it really didn't that literally was a dark match.
Yeah.
That literally was an AEW dark match on the segment at night, and I didn't think it fit.
Yeah, that should have been not on the television show tonight for Fight for the Fallen. And the quicker this storyline is over, the better. Because we all know what's going to happen at the end of the day. Allie is going to turn on QT Marshall. She's going to say, I used QT Marshall the whole time. And this kind of, I don't know if you watch SmackDown or not for WWE, but this has Mandy Rose and Otis all over it.
Oh, man. Now, I have been following Mandy Rose and Otis. I don't really like the soap opera feel either.
Yeah.
I don't like the soap opera feel of Mandy and Otis. I mean, I think Otis is a great wrestler. Now, I'm not trying to go too far into that, but I don't like the soap opera gimmicks. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, we got too many. We got too many of them. I don't think we needed an AEW. So the quicker that story is over, the better. We got a couple announcements next week for AEW Dynamite. We got Dynamite returning next week, and we got Hangman Page versus 5 of the Dark Order, Diamante versus Ivelisse. We got Cody with the TNT Championship Open Challenge. We got Jurassic Express versus Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. MJF will be in action, and the Young Bucks will take on the Butcher and the Blade in a Falls Count Anywhere match show. It's looking like a fun show next week.
Yeah, I think the one to watch, I think everybody should be watching more of those tag teams. I think, what was it? It was FTR and the Young Bucks. I think it's going to be probably the best match just because FTR needs that push. I don't know who's going to win that match, but it's going to be a good one.
Wait, what match are you talking about, FTR?
Is it FTR and the Young Bucks next week?
Oh, no, it's the Young Bucks versus Butcher and Blade in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
My apologies. I think Butcher and the Blade. I really like Butcher and the Blade, so I hope they win. I'm gonna just
Yeah.
say that.
That should be
I
a
gotta-
that should be a fun match next week. That's probably going to main event Dynamite, and it should. So that's for next week. But main event here for Fight for the Fallen, we had the FTW champion, the Machine, Brian Cage with Taz versus John Moxley. And I'll tell you what, this match was a war. This was a physical match. We knew it was going to be a physical match. At the end of the day, I thought this match was very good. It was a good main event. Cage, they protected Brian Cage because Taz threw in the towel when Moxley had an armbar in on Cage for about a few minutes. Cage did not tap out. Taz threw in the towel. Moxley got the victory, retained the championship. The match was really good. What do you think of this match between Moxley and Cage?
One, I would like to say it was a phenomenal match. I think when you say heavyweight, you have to be heavyweight. Both guys are definitely heavyweight style wrestlers, so it was good to see that style of wrestling. I don't think anybody else was able to provide that other than like Hangman Page, Kenny Omega. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
very, very good show by Brian Cage and Moxley. The thing is what I was looking at is Taz throwing in the towel, and it really has me questioning, does Taz believe in the product of Cage? Why would you throw in the towel? If how machine is he? How did you know that he wasn't going to tap out? Like, what made you not believe anymore? So Brian Cage, just help me out, Joseph, because I'm still new to AEW. I'm following the storylines. Did Brian Cage have a bicep injury before?
Yes, he had a bicep injury last year at Impact Wrestling. He was actually supposed to debut last year at Double or Nothing, but he couldn't because of contract issues with Impact, and then he injured his bicep. So
I think that it should always be left up to the wrestler to tap out. If he didn't tap out, then I think his bicep was fine. I have no idea why he decided to throw the towel in. Like, why did you think that he was incapable of just powering through that?
that's actually a good thing that you bring up with Taz and Brian Cage, and Taz throwing in the towel. Does Taz believe in Brian Cage? At the end of the day, I think this was a way to protect Brian Cage and not have him tap out or get pinned.
So he pretty much saved him from his own embarrassment.
I guess, yeah.
Either way, that always looks bad. If you throw in the towel, that means it looks like you don't believe in Brian Cage. And if Brian Cage taps out, then it's like, he's not as strong as you thought he was. But somehow, I guess Brian Cage not tapping out is a little bit less of an impact on his legacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If,
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, Taz got to take that hit if he believes in Brian Cage.
Absolutely. After the match, though, Brian Cage was pissed off. He hit Moxley with the FTW Championship. Lights go out. We all knew who this was. I knew this man was going to show up tonight and have something to do with Brian Cage. Darby Allin was on the top rope with the skateboard. He hit Brian Cage with the skateboard. Brian Cage fell out of the ring. Taz and officials were holding back Brian Cage because Brian Cage wanted... I couldn't tell if he was looking at Moxley or Darby Allin, but it looked like he was looking at Darby Allin. But that's the way that Fight for the Fallen went off the air tonight. We are now off to the races with Darby Allin and Brian Cage, and I'm excited for this.
I think Darby Allin fighting Brian Cage would be like a David and Goliath situation, small man versus big guy. I think it'd be definitely truly an entertaining match, and I think everybody is going to be going for Darby Allin in the situation, especially after Cage couldn't get it done against John Moxley.
Now, this might be a little too early to predict. More than likely, this match is getting confirmed for All Out. We know it's happening at All Out. You might as well confirm the match right now. Darby Allin and Cage for All Out. But All Out's in September. We're in July. Who do you see walking out with the win of this match if you had to pick a winner now? Would it be Cage or Darby Allin?
I gotta say Darby Allin. I mean, based on the momentum, Darby Allin has been missing for a couple of months, so he's gonna need to come back strong. And the only way he can come back strong right now is the way he did tonight, and just keep that momentum going and beat Brian Cage. I gotta go with Darby Allin to win.
Yep, we'll see what happens in the later months with Darby Allin and Brian Cage. They're now off to the races with their feud. I'm excited, man. AEW has been they put on 2 great shows. Fyter Fest was great. Fight for the Fallen was great. Any last minute thoughts on Fight for the Fallen tonight?
Another great night at AEW. I can't even. It was. I think we covered everything. It was definitely a great way to keep the momentum and keep the progress going from Fyter Fest. I think that was a good way to hold it up. I'm not sure what NXT is doing, but AEW is always consistently dropping new titles for their events, and they are always building great storylines based off the ones they had previously.
And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the AEW Fight for the Fallen review tonight on the Big Fightful channel. I want to thank every single one of you who watched this review. Let's try to get this review to 100 views. 100 views for Fight for the Fallen review would be a massive success. Comment down below what you thought of tonight's Fight for the Fallen. I thought it was a great show tonight. A lot of good things happened. And then like this video. If you enjoyed the review with me and Gary, the owner of the Rolling Pin Podcast, like this video. And then follow me on Twitter at Conlon_Joseph. And where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at the Rolling Pin Talk, hashtag Rolling Pin Talk. You can always talk wrestling on Instagram too, Rolling Pin Podcast. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to say congratulations on getting 1,000 followers. I saw you had that on Twitter. So congratulations on getting 1,000 followers. And shout out to your 1,000 people who've been following you. Make sure y'all keep following Joseph, because this was definitely an entertaining night talking about AEW posts.
Thank you. I appreciate it as well. And let's subscribe to this man's channel. He puts in very good work. AEW, old school wrestling. Make sure you go subscribe to his channel, Rolling Pin Talk, and then go follow him on Twitter at Rolling Pin Talk as well. Let's get him to 100 followers. The man definitely deserves it.
I'm glad all my people will follow me. 100 would be even better.
Any last minute words before we get out of here?
That's it. Y'all make sure y'all get some good sleep.
Yeah, get some good sleep. I'll be back tomorrow for Extreme Rules, the horror show, preview and predictions as well. I'm getting out of here. This is Gary from Rolling Pin Podcast. This is Joseph Conlon. Have a good night, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed Fight for the Fallen tonight, and stay safe.